Good morning, children. So, once again, we are meeting in our new lecture, our digital lecture, right? So, today you are finding new background, new board, okay? I hope in lecture number 1, I have discussed about poem, Roads Not Taken, right? Road Not Taken. Acha, who is the writer? Who is the poet of this poem? Robert Frost. Now, see, children, in first lecture, I have explained you how does Robert Frost elaborates that poem. In which way? I have told you Robert Frost has written this poem based on mistakes. We all are bound to make mistakes. Sometimes we repeat the same mistake. Sometimes we overcome that mistakes. Now, Roads Not Taken is a poem made or based on wrong selection made by poet. So he is insisting us, he is advising us rather, that when we pass through different stages of life, as we move forward in life, we are supposed to make thousands of choices. Some choices are pleasant, some choices are unpleasant, but still we are supposed to select one of it. Sometimes it happens when we are looking the pleasant choice, but in long run it will turn into unpleasant choice. And sometimes reverse happens when we are selecting unpleasant choice, but in long run it may turn into pleasant choice. So ultimately, that makes huge difference in life. The poet insists all these things. Now, as a part of it, I have explained the whole poem. Poem is divided into 4 paragraphs. 4 paragraphs, right? In lecture number 1, we have gone through each and every part of the poem in that lecture. Now, as we have completed that, we are supposed to discuss today the interpretations. Interpretations means understanding given in the poem. Because see, this was the last topic of your textbook. Right? It was the last topic of your textbook. And in this basic poem, we are supposed to study new topic called interpretation. Understood? In material, it is page number 66. 46, sorry. Material page number 46, right? Material page number 46. You come to this page, right? And finally, this works on page number 46. Now what happens? Okay, as we have studied the poem, we are supposed to draw some conclusions. Now children, first tell me, what is meant by interpretation? Interpretation means conclusion. Interpretation means conclusion. Is it clear, children? So, at present we are in page number M, material page number 46. Come on, you take out that page. Ready? Okay. So, first interpretation. Let us see. I have written interpretation number 1. Interpretation number 1. Okay. Sometimes the choices we make have far-reaching consequences that I told you just now. One mistake may ruin the whole life. And one opportunity creates the whole life. We don't know when we are performing any activity that I am committing a mistake or this is an opportunity for me. We don't know that. Only time can show this. Only time shows whether we are right or wrong. Right? Sometimes the choices we make have a far-reaching consequences. Consequences stands for results. Right? Sometimes the result may be positive. Sometimes the result may be negative. It depends on our choice. Is it? Have you made choices that are less risky? Or you have followed the beaten track? First passage says, I have selected the road which was more traveled, more utilized. Means less risky. Sometimes we prefer to play safe. Sometimes we avoid to take a risk. Majority of the people avoid to take risk. They prefer to play safe. But there are a number of people who invites risk and wants to have some thrill. But sometimes safe thing is avoided. Sometimes risk is avoiding. It is not known. Right? It is not like that. Okay, when you take some adventure, when you go for some thrilling activity, you are always rewarded. It is not so. Sometimes you may be a loser also. Understood? See. The poem Road Not Taken by Robert Frost is about the choices that one makes in life. Because as I told you just now, as we move forward in life, as we go one step ahead of each day, we are supposed to make thousands and thousands of choices. Every day. Number of choices. And it depends on our mental capability, on our thinking, on our attitude rather, which choice we are preferring. Right? It tells about the man who comes to a fork in the road upon his traveling. Fork means end of the road. From there, road is diverting or getting separated, splitted. End of the road, junction. He feels sorry that he cannot travel both paths as he is supposed to make one choice. That I told you, is it? He is supposed to travel in one on road because there is no choice. But after traveling certain distance, he comes to separation. Two roads are separated. Now he is totally unaware of which road to travel. So he was supposed to make a choice. Same thing happens to us. Take for example, when you will clear your 10th standard, you will have to make a first choice in your life. Which stream should I go? Should I opt for science? Should I opt for commerce or arts or diploma? Choices. Because whatever choice you make, that choice will pay you for whole life. Understood? Because you will be responsible for that choice and for whole life that selection will reflect upon you. Even I was of your age, children, when I cleared my 10th standard. I was also supposed to make a choice. What should I do? Shall I go for this subject? Shall I go for this subject? Shall I go for this subject? Understood? So according to that age, according to that time, according to that guidance of our elder ones, we made a choice. Is it clear? So, same thing happens. When these two roads is bifurcating in jungle, means in yellow woods, we can say poet cannot travel two roads because we cannot travel two roads at one time. I told you, one person cannot ride two horses at single time. We can ride only one horse at one time. And as a part of it, we are supposed to select either X or Y. If we are selecting X, we are supposed to sacrifice Y, and if we are suppose selecting Y, we are supposed to sacrifice X. Right? Frost uses this fork in the road to represent a point of man's life where he has to choose the direction he wishes to take in his life. It matters. Huge choice. Because whatever selection we make, it reflects our whole journey of life. We have to pay for whole life. Sometimes we have made a good choice. We will be rewarded in that type of result. And sometimes if we have made a bad choice, we are supposed to get rewarded in that system. Understood? As he thinks about his decision, he looks down one path as far as he can see, trying to foresee what life will be like if he walks on that path. That means he is analyzing the situation. Possibly when we make some choice, right? Then taking that decision, taking that choice into consideration, we will try to analyze all plus and minus points regarding that choice. Suppose, take for example, I have selected X thing, right? Then after selecting that thing X, I will study all the minus points of X. What are the minus points lying in selection of X? Simultaneously, I will study what are the plus points lying in selecting X. So, we are supposed to see, we are supposed to think both the sides. Because see, every coin has two sides, dark and bright. We are supposed to see bright side. Equivalently, we are supposed to see even darker side. And if we are seeing dark side, we are supposed to see bright side. Okay? See. He then gazes at the other and decides the outcome of the going of the path. Gazes means thinks. He's standing for a while over there on that road, seeing that road, closely watching. जैसे हम कोई डिसीजन लेते हैं तो काफी देर तक वो डिसीजन के बारे में हम थिंक करते हैं ना, कि भाई इसकी असर क्या होगी, इससे क्या फायदा होगा, इससे क्या नुकसान होगा. That is called gazing. Basically gazing means seeing. यह देखने का नहीं, सोचने का, कि मैंने ये निर्णय लिया है तो इससे क्या फायदा होगा, क्या नुकसान होगा. Right? Yes. He then gazes at another and decides the outcome of going down the path would be pleasant or not. At this point, he concludes that the trail that he has been traveled would be more rewarding than he reaches the end. Trail means path. He is looking at that path, both the roads. One road is less traveled, one road is more traveled. Now, closely watching both the roads, he comes to one final conclusion. Okay, let me select this road. Why? Because he thinks, okay, if I will travel on this road, I will reach my destination. उसे ऐसा लगता है सोचने के बाद कि अगर ये रास्ते पे मैं चला तो डेफिनेटली मेरे को अपनी मंजिल मिलेगी. तो ठीक इसी तरह वो सोच के आगे जब बढ़ते तब क्या होता है देखते हैं. The man who decides that will save the other path for another day, even though he knows that one path leads to another and he won't be able to get the chance back. ये सबसे बढ़िया बात है. हमेशा जिंदगी में अपॉर्चुनिटी एक ही बार आती है। अगर कोई बंदा ऐसे सोचता है कि चलो इस रास्ते पे मैं चला जाऊं, अगर ये रास्ता सही नहीं है तो मैं वापस आ जाऊंगा और दूसरा रास्ता ले लूंगा, ये बात बिल्कुल गलत है। ये सोच उसकी बिल्कुल गलत है। क्यों? कि एक बार जब हम किसी रास्ते पे चल पड़ते हैं, बराबर है, तब जैसे जैसे समय बढ़ता है और जैसे जैसे हमारी जर्नी आगे बढ़ती है, तब एक बार हम एक ऐसे पॉइंट पे, मकाम पे पहुंच जाते हैं जहां से वापस जाना बिल्कुल नामुमकिन होता है। तो ऐसे नहीं सोचने का कि चलो अगर इधर इधर गलती हुई तो मैं वापस आ जाऊंगा और वापस दूसरा रास्ता ले लूंगा। क्योंकि मैंने इंट्रोडक्शन में भी बोला था, जब मैंने आपको पोएम सिखाई, तब याद करो कि वी आर मेकिंग थाउजेंड्स ऑफ मिस्टेक्स इन अवर लाइफ, वी से सॉरी, right, and we overcome our mistake. But there are certain mistakes in our life, sorry, there are certain mistakes in life which cannot be said or wiped off with saying a word called sorry. कई ऐसी गलतियां होती है जो सॉरी बोलने के बाद भी, उसका प्रायश्चित करने के बाद भी उसको आप माफ नहीं कर सकते। बराबर? यू हैव टू पे इट फॉर होल लाइफ। आप अपने घर पे अपने पेरेंट्स को पूछो, अपने सीनियर्स को पूछो, राइट? वो आपको बताएंगे कि भाई कैसी कैसी गलतियां हुई थी हमारे से, और वो गलती की वजह से कई सारी चीज ऐसी हुई होती है। लेट अस नॉट डिस्कस दैट। मैंने भी कई गलतियां की है, मैं भी स्वीकारता हूं, है समझ में? जिसकी सजा हम जिंदगी भुगतनी पड़ती है हमको। यू हैव टू पे फॉर होल लाइफ बिकॉज देयर इज नो सॉरी। अंडरस्टूड? यही मंजर, यही सेंट्रल आइडिया पोएट हमको समझाना चाहते हैं कि अगर एक कोई बंदा ऐसे सोचता है कि मैं एक्स नामक रोड पे चला जाऊं और अगर आगे जाके कोई मुश्किल हुई, तकलीफ हुई, तो मैं वापस आ जाऊंगा और सीधा वाई रास्ता पकड़ लूंगा, तो ये बिल्कुल गलत बात है। ऐसा नहीं हो सकता। सोचने से कुछ नहीं होता, है समझ में? क्योंकि वो इतना उस वक्त आगे बढ़ चुका होगा कि वापस आना उसके लिए नामुमकिन होगा। मतलब यू कैन नॉट ओवरकम योर मिस्टेक इन वॉट एवर वे यू पेनेंस। आप कितनी भी प्रायश्चित करो, आप कितना भी अपने आप को कोसो, लेकिन वो गलती की माफी कभी नहीं मिल सकती। है समझ में? जिंदगी में कई ऐसी गलतियां होती हैं, राइट? The man then says that he will be telling this story with a sigh. Sigh means complain. He will be telling this story with a sigh. Some days in the future, suggesting that he will wonder what life would have been if he has chosen the more walked path. Even the path had a close made the difference. Right? वो आगे ऐसे भी बोलता है, क्योंकि लास्ट मैसेज में ऐसा भी बताया है, फ्रॉम एजेस एंड एजेस हेंस विथ साई आई कंप्लेन, कि अगर ये गलती हुई तो मैं बार बार आने वाली नस्लें को, आने वाली पीढ़ी को बताता रहूंगा कि ये गलती मैंने की है, आप ये गलती मत करो। बराबर है? क्योंकि ये इससे मेरे को नुकसान हुआ, आपको भी नुकसान होगा, तो आप ये गलती मत कीजिए। ऐसा नहीं करने का। है समझ में? वंस अगेन आई एम रीडिंग दैट लाइन, दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन फॉर होल पोयम। बॉटम से 5वीं लाइन, द मैन सेज दैट ही विल बी टेलिंग दिस स्टोरी, मीन्स अपनी गलती सबको बताएगा अगर गलती हुई तो, राइट? विथ अ साई। Sigh means complain, sadness. Someday in the future, suggesting that he will wonder what life would have been if he has chosen, right? He has chosen the more walked path, even though the path he has closed made the difference. Understood? कि वो अपने आप को कभी माफ नहीं कर सकता. So, this was interception of passage 1, right? Now, we will discuss interception of passage 2. Okay? Passage number 2. Passage number 2. Now, what does second paragraph says? Let us see. The road not taken is a narrative poem divided into 4 different stanzas. Each and every stanza recalls different meaning, as I told you earlier, right? And it is one of the Robert Frost most masterpiece work created. See, if you remember in introduction, in previous lecture, I explained you each and everything. Robert Frost has a mastery in writing all these things. Is it? It is one of the most misunderstood poet. At that time, Frost was not taken into consideration. Frost was not taken seriously by his fellow colleagues or by readers rather. उस वक्त जब फ्रॉस्ट ने पोएम बनाई तब ऐसा लगता था कि फ्रॉस्ट पागल हो गया है. ऐसा समझ में? फ्रॉस्ट पागल हो गया है, इसलिए ऐसे ऐसी बेकी बेकी बातें करता है. उस वक्त ऐसा लगता था. तब जब आगे जाके ये सब सच्चाई सामने आने लगी, जब ये पोयम सच्ची साबित होने लगी, कई लोग पे एक्सपेरिमेंट सिद्ध होने लगे, तब जाके ये बात समझ में आई कि भाई फ्रॉस्ट जो कई साल पहले जो बोलता था वो बिल्कुल सही था. राइट? It is also the most misunderstood work. फ्रॉस्ट ने जब, मैंने अभी बोला ना आपको, फ्रॉस्ट ने जब पोएम लिखी तब he was totally taken into misunderstanding concept. उसको पागल करार दिया था, ऐसा नहीं होता ना, ऐसा नहीं होता. लेकिन आहिस्ता आहिस्ता सब एक्सपोज होने लगा. राइट? The final line says, I took one less traveled and that had made the difference. In one line, he is explaining the reality of life. See the line once again. I took the one less traveled and that has made all the difference. Are often taken literally and interpreted to mean the poet is an individualistic with a spirit of adventure. उस वक्त यंग एज में पोएट ने शायद कोई एडवेंचर किया होगा और इसकी वजह से शायद एक रॉन्ग डिसीजन की वजह से उसको बहुत भारी कीमत भी चुकानी पड़ी होगी. तो ये सब चलते ये बोलता है कि आई हैव टेकन लेस ट्रैवल्ड. राइट? It is doubtful that the poem has this meaning. Whenever differences in choice might have arisen, it may not be able to be on a basis clearly understood difference between two paths that opened once upon for the traveler. It is a universal fact that as a traveler, means we people, we are supposed to select only one thing at a time. Just now I told you, na? Before few minutes, you cannot ride two horses at the same time. एक ही choice करने को मिलती है. Understood? So, once again you see, whatever difference the choice might have made, it was not made on the basis of clearly understood difference between two paths that opened up before the traveler, because life does not provide two opportunity. जिंदगी कभी दो मौका नहीं देती. जिंदगी एक की बार एक इंसान को एक ही मौका देती है समझ में. The poet admits in the second and third stanza that both road may be equally worn. Worn means used. Equally worn. And equally worn and equally leaf covered. And it is only in the future recollection that he will choose to call one of the right road, which is called less traveled. मतलब वो ऐसे कन्फेस करता है कि जो रास्ता उसने चुना वो समय के हिसाब से, अपनी सोच के हिसाब से वो सही था. लेकिन आगे जाके पता चला कि वो रास्ता तो गलत था. जो दिखता था वो असली नहीं था. और उसकी वजह से आज ये हाल हुआ कि भाई, is there to say कि whatever mistake I have committed, please, 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 you don't commit the same mistake. किसी भी चीज पे आप देख के तुरंत भरोसा मत कीजिए, थोड़ा सोचिए. कई बार ऐसा होता है, कोई चीज हम बाहर से देखते हैं बहुत अच्छी लगती है, सही बात है, लेकिन अंदर से बिल्कुल खोखली होती है. और कई बार ऐसा भी होता है ऑपोजिट, बाहर से चीज अच्छी नहीं लगती, हमको पसंद नहीं आती, कि भाई रिजेक्ट कर देते कि भाई ये ऐसा 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 ऐसा, लेकिन वही सबसे बढ़िया होती है चीज. राइट? सो दैट मेक्स अ डिफरेंस. Okay? The irony of the poem lies in the distance between what the speaker has told us about the roads being the same and what he says the latter claim to be. Right? What we do and what we are supposed to do. जो मैं करने वाला हूं वो भविष्य है, जो मैंने किया है वो मेरा वर्तमान है, और हमारे वर्तमान में से हमारा भविष्य निर्माण होता है. What we do reflects our future, कि ये बंदा ये करेगा कि नहीं करेगा. अगर आज कुछ अच्छा काम हम करते हैं तो एक आशा बनती है हमारी कि चलो आगे जाके भी कुछ अच्छा करें. बार बार हम अभी गलती करते हैं तो आगे जाके बिल्कुल साफ हो जाता है कि बंदा भरोसा पात्र नहीं है, आगे जाके भी गलती करेगा ही. है समझ में? तो ये हमको ये बताना चाहते हैं. राइट? एल्नोर सिकल्स, अ लिटरेरी क्रिटिक, ये राइटर का नाम है, says the poem is about human tendency to wobble, illogical indecision, and later to assume that the elephant, everyone has their own decision, all logical and enormously important. Right? जो लिटरेरी क्रिटिक्स है, लिटरेरी क्रिटिक्स मतलब कई सारे राइटर्स पोएट्स जो होते हैं, उसकी ये लोग क्रिटिक्स का काम क्या होता है, वो लोग सबकी राइटिंग वर्क पढ़ते हैं, समझते हैं, और उसमें से कोई मुद्दा होता है, कोई गलती होती है, वो ढूंढने की कोशिश करते हैं और वो समझाते हैं कि भैया ऐसा नहीं ऐसा होना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं ऐसा होना चाहिए. उसको हम क्रिटिक बोलते हैं. तो ऐसे ही एक क्रिटिक है एलेनोर सिकल्स. उसने क्या बोला है आफ्टर गोइंग थ्रू दिस पोएम? वो पोएम समझ गए और उसने पोएम पे कमेंट क्या दी है, उसका रिव्यू क्या है देखो. It is the human tendency to wobble illogically in decision. ये हमारी जन्मजात खूबी होती है या खामी है, जो भी आप बोल लो, कि हम जितना इलॉजिकल डिसीजन के पीछे भागते हैं ना, उतना हम लॉजिकल डिसीजन के पीछे नहीं जाते. इट इज अवर ह्यूमन टेंडेंसी. अंडरस्टूड? एवरीवन has their own decision way. Everyone is free to take their own decision. We cannot force anyone to take their, you can say, forceful decision. मेरे दिमाग में मेरा दिल जो कहेगा वही डिसीजन मैं लेने वाला हूं. किसी के दबाव में आके, किसी के परछाई में आके, या किसी के प्रभाव में आके अगर हम कोई डिसीजन लेते हैं तो आगे जाके हमको पछताना पड़ता है, मतलब चुकाना पड़ता है. इज इट क्लियर? So we have to think over it. Everyone has their own decision. After all, logical and enormously important. Every decision counts. Every decision counts. Logically, it is very important. Understood? Okay. Now, interpretation number 3. Many readers have overstated the importance of Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Frost arrived in England, right? Basically, he is a British poet. उसका कुछ basic introduction दिया है. He arrived in England, settling in Gloucestershire. It's the name of a county, province. बराबर? Hampshire, Gloucestershire. बराबर है? He soon became a close friend of Edward Thomas. उसकी पहचान उधर एडवर्ड थॉमस नामक व्यक्ति से हुई थी. Later, when readers persisted his misreading, The Road Not Taken, Frost insisted that his poem had been intended as a sly jest at the expense of his friend and fellow poet. When he wrote this poem in that early days, first of all, his poem was misunderstood by the people. As I told you in second interception, first of all, Robert was not taken seriously by the readers. क्योंकि जब उसने ये कविता लॉन्च की, तब उस वक्त ऐसा ही लगता था कि रॉबर्ट फ्रॉस्ट पागल है, ऐसा कुछ है ही नहीं, हम तो बहुत वाइज लोग हैं, हम अपनी चॉइस खुद करते हैं और हमारे से कभी भूल होती ही नहीं है, ये सब है ना, XYZ वगैरह वगैरह. लेकिन आगे जाके पता चला कि जितनी भूल हमसे होती है उतनी शायद किसी से नहीं होती है, क्योंकि वी आर बाउंड टू मेक मिस्टेक्स. मैं वापस एक बार बोलता हूं, जो आज मेरे को जो सही लगता है मेरे हिसाब से, वो कल शायद गलत भी साबित हो सकता है. सही बात है ना? ऐसा नहीं कि आज मैं जो सही हूं तो कब आगे जाके मैं सही होगा, मैं गलत भी साबित हो सकता हूं. Is it clear? So he was misunderstood. For Thomas had invariably first over irrevocable choices in the most mirror sought up in daily walks with Robert Frost in 1914. That means Frost was not taken seriously by the people of England in 1914. He was irrevocably rebelled by the people. He was uselessly asked thousands of questions regarding his writing work. Not only this poem, but literary critics used to ask number of questions regarding that. कि ये क्या, इसका मतलब क्या होता है, ये क्यों हुआ है, आपको ये लिखने की प्रेरणा कहाँ से मिली, ये क्यों लिखना पड़ा, है समझ में? तो ये सारी चीजें जो है वो फ्रॉस्ट को समझानी पड़ती थी, है समझ में? Later, Frost insisted in his case the line, सबको समझाने की कोशिश की थी, एक लाइन कॉमन है, and that has made all the difference taken was wrong. बराबर? Of course it hasn't, he persisted, it's just a poem, you know. लास्ट में वो लोग क्या बोलते हैं कि that has made a difference. तो लोग उसको पूछते थे कि भैया ये लाइन का मीनिंग आप समझाओ, आप कहाँ, कैसे आपको ऐसे मालूम पड़ा कि मेरा एक डिसीजन की वजह से मैं गलत साबित हुआ, आप बताओ मेरे को. तो वो इतना डेस्परेट हो गए थे जवाब दे दे के, तो उसको बाद में खामखा कन्फेस भी करना पड़ा कि पॉसिबल इट वाज जस्ट अ सिंपल लाइन आई हैव रिटन, बाकी बेसिकली ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. क्यों? क्योंकि वो समझाने की कोशिश कर रहे थे, लेकिन उस वक्त जो लिटरली सोसाइटी ऑफ इंग्लैंड थी वो शायद रॉबर्ट फ्रॉस्ट को समझ नहीं पाते थे. राइट? दे वर नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड, interpret Robert Frost. And because of this understanding, thousands of critics were born. And his writing work was literally question marked. Some of them took Robert Frost as a lunatic writer, pagal writer. He is a man without words. He cannot be considered as a writer, as a poet, because he does not have a thinking. Right? So all these things Frost was to suffer rather. Right? In 1915, moreover, the sole intention was to twist Thomas. Twist means change the mind of Thomas, his friend. Which friend who helped him through all the writing work. Understood? You were supposed to go through it. Frost had frequently taken long countryside walk with Thomas. Means Thomas के साथ उसकी खूब बनती थी, याराना था, जिगरी था. Frost has taken long countryside walk with Thomas and chose the route which might enable him to show the American friend a rare plant of special vista. When they were walking in the countryside, इधर हम गांव बोलते हैं इंडिया में, इंग्लैंड में कंट्री साइड बोलते हैं. दोनों तरफ हरियाली होती है, खेत खलियान होते हैं, पेड़ पौधे, जंगल एरिया, बड़े बड़े पेड़, राइट, नेक्स्ट टू नेचर. एंड इन दिस नेचर व्हेन दे यूज्ड टू वॉक, मान लो कि अभी विंटर का सीजन चल रहा है तो कई लोग सुबह शाम को विक्टोरिया के अंदर चलने जाते हैं. तो देखो विक्टोरिया के दोनों तरफ बीच में रास्ता है, आप भी शायद गए होंगे तो आपको मालूम होगा. जिधर लोग वॉकिंग करने के लिए जाते हैं, आराम से घूमते हैं, तो दोनों तरफ कितनी हरियाली होती है, कितना बिल्कुल नेचर इज फुल ऑफ लाइफ. जात जात के पेड़ पौधे, पशु पंखी, इंसेक्ट्स, बटरफ्लाइज, ऑल दिस थिंग्स. और खास करके ये नजारा मॉनसून में तो और भी खिलता है. आया समझ में? तो जैसे अपने दोस्त थॉमस के साथ कई ऐसे लॉन्ग वॉक्स पे जाते थे, तो जाते जाते ऐसी कई लिटरेसी की डिस्कशन होती थी. राइट? Thomas would regret the choice that he had, Thomas would regret the choice he had made and would sigh over what he might have shown Frost if they had taken a better direction. जब ये पोएम के बारे में चर्चा होती थी वॉक्स पे जाते वक्त, तो थॉमस भी ऐसे बताते थे कि आई रिग्रेट योर चॉइस, सॉरी, कि अगर आपको ये पहले मालूम होता हुआ तो शायद आप ये अवॉइड कर सकते थे. मतलब इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि मान लो कि अगर मेरे को मालूम है कि ये डिसीजन लेने से मेरी भूल होने वाली है, आगे जाके ये नुकसान होगा, ये होने वाला है कुछ नेगेटिव, तो शायद मैं ये डिसीजन लेता ही नहीं. मैं समझ जाता, कंट्रोल कर जाता अपने आप को, ताकि I may not fall into other decision. Right? So, Frost teased for the wasted words. फ्रॉस्ट ने डिसीजन लिया था. थॉमस कई बार उसकी मजाक उड़ाते थे कि भाई he was teased literally for wasting of words. Frost found something quaintly romantic in singing, in sighing over years been. Such, of course, was the action of roads not taken. Such was the thing of roads not taken. Right? So, what is the conclusion delivered? If we are to believe Frost as his biographer, the road not taken was intended to serve as Frost's gentle jest at Thomas Exwell. Jest means majak, play fun of. So from all these interpretations, number 1, 2, 3, we can derive some final conclusions. Conclusion number 1, कि possibly Frost have written this poem just for leisure, just for fun. Possibly you must have not passed through odd times. Right? Second, edited from George Monitor's book, Robert Frost and the New England Renaissance Era. At that time, England was passing through age of Renaissance. And as a part of Renaissance, Renaissance means new awakening. And as a part of new awakening, Robert Frost was supposed to do this. Right? Because it was not only Frost. There were thousands of poets. There were thousands of poets, or writers rather, who produced revolutionary writing. And at the time of Renaissance, Frost was considered one of the, let me say, उस वक्त फ्रॉस्ट को कभी न कभी किसी ने कोई सीरियसली नहीं लिया, लेकिन Frost was one of the most revolutionary writer of his age. है समझ में? So, this was the thing which makes us clear. Now children, it is your time to take your homework. Okay? Homework number 1. Question number 1. Question 1. What doubt arose in the poet's mind while composing a poem? What is your answer? Answer material. Question number 5. Right? See, the answer is also given. Answer in material, question number 5. You're supposed to write. So no need. Sir, ये आंसर कहाँ है? ऐसा तो आपने कुछ सिखाया नहीं. ये थोड़ा ऑफ बीट लेक्चर था, मेरे को मालूम है, लेकिन ये सीखना पड़ता है. तो आपका आंसर जो है, आपका जो आंसर है वो मटेरियल में पेज नंबर क्वेश्चन नंबर 5 में मिलेगा आपको. राइट? Second question. What is the main idea of interpretation 1? What is the main idea behind interpretation 1? Behind interpretation 1. तो उसका आंसर मटेरियल क्वेश्चन नंबर 9. सही बात है, ये आपको आंसर में देना है. थर्ड क्वेश्चन नंबर 3. What information does the writer the writer use to express the main idea? Right? What information does the writer use to express the main idea? That is, answer material, question number 10. Question number 10, right? And last one, question 4. What is the idea behind the third interpretation? Right? What is the main idea behind the third interpretation? That is, answer material, question number 13. So, this is your answers. There are 4 answers. In next lecture, we'll start with other topic. Right, children? So these are 4 questions of your homework. You have a look on your screen. And you are supposed to send to your teacher. See, children, you are supposed to send your homework to your associate teacher, not to me. Don't send your homework to me. Send your homework to your associate teacher. कई बच्चे लोग मेरे को पीडीएफ भेजते हैं. बेटा मेरे को नहीं भेजनी है, अपने क्लास टीचर को भेजनी है. आया समझ में? So with this we are ending our lecture number 2. We'll meet in third lecture with something new rather. Till then, children, goodbye, take care, see you.